views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Russell. Welcome to the Healing Light Podcast. I am a psychic intuitive who's been reading tarot cards for over 25 years. I'm also Reiki certified. Join me as I read cards, share intuitive messages, promote healing, and much, much more.
Here's your host.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Healing Light Podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin Russell. Thank you for joining. Thank you to Paranormal Buzz Radio for being my podcast host. Feel free to listen in, of course, but also chat. And, if you have any questions, by all means, let me know. So I wanted to talk about Mercury Retrograde and what does that mean for you. So it's a lot to take in. I don't know what you know about it, what you don't know about it, but maybe you know, maybe you're an expert on it, maybe you have no clue what I'm talking about. So basically, when cosmic shifts occur in the universe, it can impact our life in a really profound way. I mean, I could go down the rabbit hole about planets and all that. Really, it's a lot to get into and how it all works. I'm even taking an astrology class, so you get into things like your house sign, your rising sign. But anyway, what I'm going to talk about tonight is one of these cosmic shifts, and it's called Mercury Retrograde. So what does that mean anyway, Mercury Retrograde? And there are also two other events which are occurring now or will occur in May that I want to make note of. And then I want to kind of tie it all in together. So just bear with me here. And why is this such a big deal? So Mercury Retrograde, basically what it means is that a planet goes retrograde when it appears to rotate backward. It's not really rotating backward, but it appears to rotate backward. So it lasts for about 3 weeks, and it occurs like 3 to 4 times a year. So right now, it started, I think it was on the 7th, I'm not quite sure, but it's going now through May 14th. Then it comes again, August 21st through September 14th, and then from December 13th to January of 2024. I don't have the exact date, but I will always share that for you. There are also 2 other events that are occurring. Another event that's occurring that started on May 1st, that goes through October 1st, is that when Pluto goes retrograde. So that's happening now. And then also on May 19th, we have the new moon in Taurus. So we have a lot going on with our planets. So what does this mean? So Mercury was the messenger from God who ruled all forms of communication. So that was his main job. So when Mercury goes retrograde, this is when part of it things can go haywire. Your miscommunication happens. Maybe your apps stop working. Your emails are all wonky. You can't get your thoughts out. You feel like you're kind of you're stuck. And you can't get out of it. It feels very uncomfortable, Mercury retrograde. You know, I worked in customer service. I've worked in a call center, and you can generally tell when either a full moon or Mercury's going retrograde, because you'll say, "Oh my gosh, these calls I'm getting are absolutely insane." They're absolutely crazy. And you might be going, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that," or I can't get the words out, whatever. And it's because these events are going on. So it just absolutely goes nuts. So one of the this also absolutely coincidentally happens to be Mercury retrograde in Taurus. So what does that mean? So Taurus is an earth sign, and one of the traits of the Taurus is that, and I know because I'm a Taurus, that's my sun sign, that we are loath to change. So this time period with Mercury in retrograde, it may be extremely frustrating. Your patience wears thin when things are broken and need to be fixed. So if you feel you're not communicating well or not at all being heard, this could be the reason. It just makes it go absolutely bonkers. So how do you get through it? Well, when Mercury goes in retrograde, basically the first thing you need to do is just take things slower and have patience. Really think things through before you say anything or send that email. Be careful when you are signing contracts, when you are doing any sort of paperwork. Maybe you're getting ready to go out. You're thinking maybe this would be a good time to buy a car and all that. And then you have Mercury in retrograde, and so we think, okay, so this is when paperwork and communication can go all crazy. So what do I do? So like I said, you just have to really think things through, take it slower, have patience. Okay. So then we have, which I think will really help you, is when Pluto goes retrograde, and that's happening now. So with Pluto in retrograde, it helps counterbalance Mercury in retrograde, because it's like opening this intense portal. It opens up transformations and rebirth, and this is a good time for revelations. Okay. So if things are all crazy and chaotic, and you take your time and you go slow and you really, really think things through, then some information can be revealed about your past, or maybe it was a mistake you made that's weighing in on you. it's like your aha moment that you need to address in order to move forward. Mercury in retrograde says, whoa, you don't go so fast and make this huge decision that can lead you down a path you aren't ready for. So hold off. So use this time to take in information and truly, truly process it. Gather your thoughts, maybe write it in a journal. Nothing has to feel rushed. Time is your gift. So Pluto in retrograde is all about truths uncovered. It can also offer profound emotional healing, regeneration, renewal, and rebirth. And sometimes if you're seeing numbers like 111, 555, or 1111, those are signs that you're protected and the universe is sending you a sign that, you know, that everything's going to be working out. Let me see if I've got any chat here. I don't have anything in the chat as of yet, but, you know, I welcome your questions as always. So then we have the new moon in Taurus. So that's also in Taurus, and that occurs on May 19th. Now, this is another useful tool in your Mercury retrograde toolbox. So another sign of Taurus is that they're known to be practical. So this is actually a good time to set concrete goals that you are ready to put in motion. So Mercury retrograde is all about things kind of going wonky and has the potential of causing stress. But the new moon says that's okay, because this is a time where you can set your goals, write them down. So what I do is I write 3 things that I want to make happen. And I set a specific time frame. I make them challenging but achievable. You know, I dream. I'm realistic, but I also dream big. So, for example, I'm just thinking here. So my goal, I would love to be able to sing. So I could say, all right, my goal is to sing. But I know in my heart of hearts that I'm a lousy singer. I would probably make people cry if I sang in a very bad way. So is that a realistic goal? Not really. But I can challenge myself to use my voice in another way. You know, make myself be heard that people will react to, you know, in a public forum. So last year around this time, I set an intention. I wanted to either be a guest on a podcast or I wanted to be a guest on a radio show to either read cards or talk about Reiki or any of this stuff. And so I wrote it down on a piece of paper. So that was one of my goals. Hey, Shay. Hey, Shelly. Hi, everybody. Hi, Meanie. Minnie or Meanie? Sorry. I wrote it down. So what you can do is write these goals down. And you can perform a ritual like I often do. I take my little cauldron that I have, my little metal cauldron. I write my pieces of paper. I take it outside and I face the new moon. And I crumple them up and put them in the cauldron. I say a little prayer, and then I burn the paper in the cauldron, and then I douse it with some moon water. If you can't do that safely for whatever reason, very simple. All you have to do is write it on pieces of paper, say a little prayer or incantation, whatever you may want. Take the energy from the universe, and these are my goals. I'm sending this out to the universe. I wish to receive them back. And then you can crumple them up and throw them away. So you have Mercury retrograde, Pluto retrograde, and then you have the new moon. So when I talk about Mercury retrograde opening up a chance at transformation and rebirth, this is a great time, like I said, for revelations about your past or, something that maybe you're too unsure of. So Mercury retrograde, if you've heard some of it, oh my God, Mercury's in retrograde, it's awful. Well, not necessarily, because it can reveal a lot about, what has deeper meaning. And it can actually offer you a gift. And then when you have the Pluto in retrograde, you also have this other cosmic shift, which is also a gift. And that brings you a chance to really connect deeply spiritually with the universe and be one. And your whole, I don't want to say psychic, because I think that word gets overused as well, but it is kind of a psychic gift in a way. Your third eye has a chance to expand and open, as your third eye is the one that's in the middle of your forehead, and it opens up your path to something that goes deeper and farther out than something you can physically touch. It brings you closer to the universe, basically, is what it does. So if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. You might be going through some turmoil right now in your life. So think about Mercury in retrograde. That could be the cause of it. Something that might help you too with dealing with Mercury in retrograde is you tap into your inner Cancer trait, even if you're not a Cancer. So really get in touch with your emotions, because that also is something that's occurring coincidentally. Venus, it goes into Cancer from May 7th to June 1st. And Venus is all about love. It includes everything from our love language, how we express our love, to our sensuality, and our values in relationships. It's a water sign. It's about our emotions kind of free-flowing. So the message here, this is another cosmic shift as well, is either give yourself the love that you received from your mother when you were little. Remember that time. Or give yourself the love you needed, but maybe you didn't receive, but you needed. Show yourself some love. This is a time also to deepen relationship. Practice self-care. You might want to call your cousin you haven't talked to in ages and reconnect. So these are all things that are in your Mercury Retrograde toolbox that you can use. And I'm going to be talking more in depth about astrology down the road and how the planets play into, how our lives are dictated and what impact they have on our lives. But I just wanted to give you some examples of how the planets and the universe can influence our daily life. So you have Mercury retrograde, which is traditionally seen as a bad thing. Oh my God, stay away from Mercury in retrograde. It's terrible. But you can also look at it like, oh, this is a gift. If you take the time to, before you open your mouth, really think before you speak. Sometimes you might feel like the impulse is to get your words out there without really thinking about what you're saying. And so this time of year, when this is going on, if you do that, then it can get you in a lot of trouble, or it just, things don't come off as well. But if you sit back and take your time and think about Venus being in Cancer and thinking about just taking your time and being slow, then it gives you a chance to rebound from it, as it were. Hopefully this is all making sense. It's a lot to get through. So anyway, another thing that a Taurus trait is that I know that a lot of Taurus qualities means that you love feeling good, you like luxury, you like the finer things in life, and you like having that warm blanket over you, if you ever notice that. So even if you're not a Taurus, but you may have a Taurus qualities in you. So this is why it's important to embrace those qualities, because you're going to be in a time of chaos with this whole retrograde thing. So you want to make sure that you're taking good care of yourself. You want to make sure that you're, like I said, practicing self-care, that you're taking a deep breath. Because I'm all about, making sure that you take a deep breath and practicing self-care, whatever that may be. So I've done a lot of talking about the different cosmic shifts. And it just amazes me that when we think about the changes that are coming up, how much the universe plays a part in that. And so a lot of people, there might be some people who might say, well, this is going wrong, or that's going wrong, or this is going on. Oh, Mercury is in retrograde, so that's why. Well, that's part of it. But you have to remember, this is why I kind of talk about the other cosmic shifts that are happening at the same time. Because for every negative, there's also something powerful that's going on. So you just have to tap into it, and use those tools to help you get through some pretty challenging times. So I am taking a class with my mentor, Mary D'Alba, and hopefully she'll be a guest on one of my podcasts. But we're going to talk about more in depth about the planets and what happens when they go in retrograde and what happens when they're in different houses of the zodiac and how that works. So I think you'll really be fascinated by it. But let me know what you think. Anybody have any thoughts or comments? So Patty says, I work in customer service too. This week has been a doozy. The full moon plus the retrograde. Oh, yeah, that's right. We had the full moon as well. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, when the full moon goes crazy, it's when the full moon is happening, it's absolutely insane. I know Patty, and I've worked in customer service, and you can just tell when it's going to be a full moon. We'll get into moons as well, because I love the moon. I follow, the different phases of the moon. I have a moon app on my phone, and so you can look at what phase the moon is in today and what that means. Is it in waning gibbous or waxing gibbous, and what exactly does that mean? So it's amazing, really, when you get down to it, just how powerful the planets are, and how they and the moon, and how they help interact with impact our life. And Patty says schools see an uptick of crazy too. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right, Shay. The moon was a bright orange last night. Yeah. I remember seeing that on the news. And Amber says working in mental health and dealing with the full moon or retrograde is crazy. Yeah. It can be. I mean, it kind of all makes sense, really, if you think about it. And it's been going on for thousands of years. So, like I said, there's ways that you can cope with that. I know for me, with my day job, I reach out to someone and say, can I just run this by you first before I send it? Take a step back, because I think we've all been guilty of just coming out with whatever comes off the top of our head, and it can just come out totally wrong. So just take a deep breath and just know that it's temporary. I mean, yes, it happens 3 or 4 times a year, and I don't know how many full moons we have. Well, we have 12 new moons and 12 full moons a month. I love the new moon. I'm partial to the new moon because, hey, it's the new moon, and it gives you a chance to, bring your goals to life and to really reflect on that. And, the full moon is kind of a gift too, because, like I said, I'll get to kind of like what you do with the moon cycles in another podcast, but another episode. But when you even with the full moon, you can look at it as a gift. Patty says, lunatic. Oh, that's so funny, Patty. Yeah. Our ancestors believed in the different planets and the moon cycles and how the sun works and all of that. And there's a reason for it, and there's a huge question of the universe and why are we here and all that. So, this is, it all kind of makes sense if you really think about it. So, to recap, we have Mercury Retrograde, which is ending on the 14th. And then right now we're in Pluto Retrograde. And remember, that runs through October 10th. And that opens into that super intense portal of transformation for you. And don't forget, we have Venus in Cancer from now until June 1st. And then you have the new moon in Taurus on May 19th. So just remember that life can be pretty crazy when Mercury goes retrograde, but it doesn't have to. Right. Mercury retrograde ends May 14th, Patty, and Pluto retrograde ends in October. And I usually post these dates on my Healing Light page. And, yes, if you want to find me, I should let you know that. So if you go to the Healing Light NH, I have a Facebook page that's dedicated to that. The Healing Light. I'm on TikTok as well, but I never post there because I don't know how to do those videos. I'm on Twitter as the Healing Light NH, and I'm on Instagram as the Healing Light NH. So look for me there. Like my page, share it. I post. I do daily tarot card readings, oracle readings. I'll post stuff about Mercury retrograde and the moons and all that. So hopefully that you've learned a little bit more about Mercury retrograde than you do now. And hopefully the main line is, yes, it can cause things to go a little crazy and haywire, but you're going to make it through it because you got tools in your toolbox. And thank you, Patty, for sharing that. So thank you all for listening in tonight. I really appreciate it. As always, I welcome your feedback, show suggestions. My next broadcast in June, I'll make sure that I let you know what that's about. But you're going to want to tune in for that, as I have a special guest who's going to be on. And reach out to me. Let me know what you want to hear from a psychic medium who reads tarot cards and oracle cards and is a Reiki master. So thank you very much. I will see you all next month. And remember, you got this. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.